Everybody, it is 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do you know where your children are? My name's Brian Engelman.
I'm Blake Walley.
And today is Thursday, August 10th, 2023. We have a million stories to get into today, including 3 that I added to the stack after Blake put together his wonderful, I don't know, I was going to say a walloping list, but then I said wonderful and wonderful walloping. It was unnecessary. I just love alliterations. Blake is a guy there. You can follow him at thenextlevelnews.com, and on Twitter, it's called X now. He's at TV's Blake Walley, Walley, and follow him for all of the interesting conversation. So,
it's what I do, the news.
It's just what I do. All right. It's what I do as well, and it's what you do too. So go ahead and leave your comments in all of the places. On Twitter, we're at American_media_, YouTube.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. Facebook, search TNAM's The Agree to Disagree Show. Good luck finding it, unless the parentheses are exact. You're not going to jump in. It's a private group, but it's awesome. Rumble.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. Find us on Rumble, because Rumble's an open source of YouTube, and then open source type of YouTube site for us to upload all of our video content. And then Spotify, we are search for The Agree to Disagree Show. Also on Instagram.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. Okay, first topic. All right, Mr. Blake, let's jump right into it. Did the January 6th Select Committee fail to preserve their records on purpose? Agree or disagree?
Well, Brian, I think we have the wrong caption on there. I tried to remove it, but it's come back. I don't know. Maybe it's I'm misreading the one. Are you seeing this? What are you seeing on your end?
Did J6 Select Committee fail to preserve their records on purpose? Now I switched it to the other one.
All right, I'm seeing different ones. I'm seeing the Ukraine one. I'm seeing last episode's
what?
caption.
Okay, look, I'm just gonna say this has nothing to do with my Betamax style laptop that has a lot of RAM. Blake loves to blame me why I can't get the green screen working. I think it's a problem with the streaming service. We might want to consider. I'm just saying. I've enjoyed our time here on Restream, but there may be an option with less glitches. I have nothing Ukraine in my stack at all, but. Anyway, let's power through. I will tell you once again, try to ignore your lying eyes, like the Democrats and the legacy media try to tell you. Ignore your lying eyes. Listen to my words. Blake, did the January 6th Select Committee fail to preserve their records on purpose? Agree or disagree?
It certainly appears that way. I'm going to agree. And now the burden of proof is on them, but maybe there is no proof since they got rid of it. They have been deliberately framing this. And perhaps we can get the audience to say, what are you reading on the bottom here? I'm seeing the shopkeeper story. I'm not seeing anything about J6, but that's okay. That's the charm of the show, is the live aspect and the
we'll do it live, says Bill O'Reilly. We'll do it live.
Yes. All righty, but let's get into this, because I saw a bombshell little report from Jesse Waters yesterday, and now everybody seems to be picking it up, except for the left-wing side, who would prefer to keep their audience in the dark. So we have here on Fox, the J6 committee failed to preserve records, has no data on the Capitol Hill security failures, according to these new GOP charges. So even though they disbanded in December 22, they were required documents from its investigation.
Oh, you mean just like all of those voting precincts that had to hold on to their records for, was it 17 months, 27 months? I know there's different statutes, but no, I don't know. We reset everything. Oh, you reset everything. Well, let's see the printout. There was no printout. Well, let's see the source code. You can't show you the source code. It's proprietary. But trust us, it's totally 100% safe and secure. Wait, or is that the jab? Or wait, is that all of the lying legacy media's batting average? Oh, wait, don't believe your lying eyes. Listen to me. Okay, sorry, please go ahead.
Oh, their batting average is just dreadful over the last, since 2016, 2015, probably. Well, even going back, without going way into the weeds. Yes, they've been pretty disappointing. There's really not a whole lot of reason to take them at face value, whatever they say at this point. They're getting roasted in their fact checks. And yes, they've been caught lying many times against Donald Trump and his supporters. And here is the latest bomb, and it is major. So the House Select Committee that investigated the Capitol riot on January 6th failed to adequately preserve documents, data, and video positions, including communications it had with the Biden White House that are still missing, according to the Republican lawmaker overseeing the investigation into the committee. This now disbanded committee, which was run by Democrats and included only 2 GOP members. Do we really want to call that? It's Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney.
No, those are not GOP members. This is a complete kangaroo court made up of deep state globalist traitorous hacks.
Yeah, it's seen that way. It was all a big show trial. It failed to do what they wanted it to do and give out the optics, and misled people, and it kind of blew up, and then it was kind of gone. And now when it's the Republicans' turn to start looking at some of the stuff, looks like there's evidence missing. I looked into the Capitol Hill security failures. This is according to Representative Barry Loudermilk, Representative Georgia, chairman of the subcommittee and oversight for the Committee on House Administration, told Fox News. They have been having difficulty gathering all of the information from Representative Benny Thompson's handling of the investigation. So
I have a question there. That representative, not Benny, what the other one?
Yeah.
What was his name again?
Loudermilk.
First name.
What was it again?
Yeah, because I remember the last name. I'm just trying to. You know how a lot of names.
Barry. His name is Barry Loudermilk.
Barry Loudermilk. Okay. You know how a lot of names. Doesn't Wally mean something? What does Wally mean? You're like a walleye. You derive. You're a fish, you're one of the fish people. You're like a merman. You used to be a walleye. Is that?
I looked up a coat of arms, and I looked up into some family history, just a surface look, and it appears that Wally came from Whaley, and there's a coat of arms with 3 whale heads. So I'm assuming my ancestors, my great ancestors, were whale hunters back in the day when that was acceptable. But I renounce that now. I
back
like
when we needed that blubber. We needed it back when we needed the blubber to fill our lamp posts.
That was before oil.
Lamp posts?
Yes.
What you knowing? You know, and Engelman, like it's Angel, it's Angel Man. So I don't know. There's something to that. I think it's Germanic, and Engel is angle, an angel rather. But Loudermilk. I mean, was this like an Alex Jones type cow? Was this like a really boisterous dairyman? It was a you have your milk, and it's very intense. It's the volume is turned up on the dairy products, like Loudermilk. Okay, well I guess it's not softer milk, it's louder. I just
never heard that name in a while. Right. Yeah, it makes you wonder what their coat of arms looks like.
A bunch of screaming cows.
And,
cackling cows, screaming cows. Yeah, you got the what's that little one, the something cow? It's a laughing cow or jumping cow or something. The cheese, Bluebell, or wasn't there something like a laughing cow? It's called like laughing cow cheese, I think. So Loudermilk, I don't know. Screaming milk, screaming cows. I'm sorry, but that's just what my brain did today. Please continue with the story. But Loudermilk is the last name. Like, what was the source? I don't know. I just go and yell at cows. I just run through the dairy screaming.
Essential information, yes.
All right, back to Loudermilk. He's saying they're not giving up any of the information, and they're claiming, nope, who, us, me? No, it's gone. No, you silly goose, it's gone.
It's just gone. Yeah, that's all right. So here we go. Let's take a look at this quick report from Jesse Waters last night.
Allegedly. Do you have to send this one to me, Blake?
Oh, is it not running? Yeah.
Oh, no, I not seeing anything.
Of documents, transcript, and hours of deposition videos, the good, the bad, and the ugly, will be legally required to turn over whatever materials Trump requests. And as you know, Primetime does not believe in coincidences. Yesterday, we uncovered the January 6th committee has destroyed almost 50% of their evidence. The Democrat-run January 6th committee is missing 1.5 terabytes of data. This is an enormous amount of material. Records of the Capitol Hill security failures, video of Trump cabinet depositions, emails, text messages, gone. And who knows what else they deleted. Remember, the January 6th committee only aired and only reported what Democrats wanted you to know about January 6th. Anything they didn't want you to know about the 6th wasn't made public, and it looks like it was destroyed. We might never get to the bottom of January 6th because the January 6th committee destroyed their evidence. This has never happened before in Congress. The Benghazi committee, the 9/11 committees, all of that evidence is warehoused. None of it was deleted. Now, once the congressional investigation's completed, all of the information's transferred to the archives. And congressional sources tell Primetime that losing or destroying committee evidence is not at all common practice. And it's also a crime to destroy congressional documents. It's a felony. That means the January 6th committee, if Trump wins this election, could be charged with felonies for destroying congressional materials. Now, for 2 years, Democrats conveyed to us they only care about two things: preserving documents and January.
Oh, of course.
Preserving documents.
So why would they destroy January 6 documents? And why do Democrats continue to get away with destroying evidence? Hillary acid washes emails and takes hammers to iPhones. Obama's IRS accidentally erased records. And in a vicious legal twist, Biden's prosecutor, Jack Smith, cracked into Donald Trump's Twitter account. Smith got a search warrant from Obama-Biden D.C. judges, and Elon Musk handed over Trump's Twitter account. And no one told Trump. It was all done in the dark. Former president had this to say: just found out that crooked Joe Biden's DOJ secretly attacked my Twitter account.
Ah, well, there he goes. The internet went out, but I think we've got the gist of that story.
We sort of do. This second part is important, though. Did it just stop?
Yeah, I'll see if I can. It's only about 30 seconds left.
Well, I mean, it's important now.
Yeah, it's also an aside issue. Yeah, they're cracking down. They're doing another fishing expedition, this time on his Twitter account.
It's all fishing. Yes, it's all fishing. Yeah, and it just makes you wonder why Kevin McCarthy, alleged Republican Speaker of the House, who we've left multiple voicemails with to get access to that January 6 footage that he promised the American people was going to be made public. It's really starting to make you wonder why they're not cooperating, why they're not following through on that promise. And didn't Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene and all sorts of people, didn't they really work hard to put safeguards in place so that McCarthy would be forced to release the January 6 footage so that we could figure out exactly how many feds were in the crowd, what actions they took to provoke and create the event that they then weaponized against Donald Trump, President Trump? I think it's pretty important if your own government has set up and framed the sitting president of the United States to overthrow him in a coup, and now what, jail him for life or execute him. I believe that if found guilty of all of these charges that he's facing right now, I believe the death penalty is on the table. So I think when we're talking life and death, it's time to see the videotapes, Kevin McCarthy. Speaker McCarthy, how many more voicemails do you need from us? You told us we were supposed to see this footage. Now they're saying they deleted it. Show the footage. All right.
Yeah, no, I agree. Hopefully somebody's got it. I don't know if they gave it all to Tucker or if Tucker still has possession or if he lost possession after he was canned from Fox, or if maybe somebody else does. One of the other outlets, there's a couple of them that got some more footage, but we haven't seen a whole lot of it. I think one of them's John Solomon is just the news. So hopefully there's a record of that. Should come back to haunt them, because this is illegal, and now this whole trial should just immediately be thrown out. But let's see if I can run this last 30 seconds here. Nope, not going to happen.
I had this to say. Just found out that crooked Joe Biden's DOJ.
Oh, it's going to stop at the same spot.
They secretly attacked my Twitter account, making it a...
Well, making it a point not to let me
not
know.
to let me know about this major hit on my.
All right, forget about it. It's
well, just read what's on the screen. Read the comments.
Right. My political opponent is going crazy trying to infringe my campaign for president.
Rights.
Nothing like this has ever happened before. Does the First Amendment still exist? Did deranged Jack Smith tell the unselects to destroy and delete the evidence? These are dark days in America. Yeah, absolutely. So you can't destroy evidence and try to go after somebody. Sorry, but now they're trying to frame this whole thing, and they're trying to set it up so he's in D.C. and against in a hostile environment. So
there is zero opportunity of getting a fair trial as President Trump in Washington, D.C. Any judge could look at that, understand that it has to be moved or thrown out. There is zero way that this can proceed. This is not a jury of his peers. This is not his peers. These are his sworn enemies. You don't throw somebody you don't take a baby that you care about and toss it into the viper den and like, oh, well, I love it. I don't know. It's amongst its own. It'll do fine. Look, it's a baby. It's amongst all the other vipers. It's totally, it's gone and it's eaten and it's been digested and crap. Exactly what we wanted. Yeah, that's where we're at right now. This is not a jury of his peers. Americans are entitled to a jury of his peers. You want to go down to Florida and you want to go to Mar-a-Lago, the people, like, that's where he lives. That's where he resides. That's where the people who know him best, those are his peers, his enemies, they're all aiming arrows. They have the bows drawn. They have the string taut and they're ready. They've taken aim. It's a firing squad. This is kangaroo times 1,000,000,000,000. And the kangaroo was exactly what that J6 trial was. It was always a farce. No, Kinzinger and Cheney are not Republicans. Those are deep state asset globalist traitors. So, okay, where do we go from here? What else are we? Because I guess there were several points on this particular topic.
Yeah, there's certainly a few. And so the criminal act, as Trump is pointing out here, because he's got the full subpoena power because of freedom of speech sham indictment by crooked Joe Biden. This is according to a quote from Trump. To arrange Jack Smith and the DOJ. It has been reported the political hacks and thugs have illegally destroyed their records and documents. But yeah, but then they go raid on him, Mar-a-Lago, for stuff that he was declassified documents that he had right to access. So they're going after him for that, and meanwhile they're destroying their own evidence. So it's just unbelievable. And as Trump is saying, it's unthinkable, and the fake political indictment must be immediately withdrawn. System is rigged and corrupt, like the election of 2020. We are a nation in decline. Yeah, it's hard to disagree with any of that. So,
well, you know what? Let me just make a quick segue over to this other story, because does everything regarding J6 appear to be a political cover-up? That was like kind of the second component to what we were talking about there.
Sure.
Let me grab the screen real quick, because you talked about a raid. And of course, anytime a story comes out, you really kind of need to give a story 72 hours to breathe. You kind of have to figure out what's going on here. But in Utah, you had a raid. A man who was accused of threatening Joe Biden, former Vice President Joe Biden, shot and killed in an FBI raid in Utah. FBI officials unload the Utah man accused of making threats, shot and killed in the raid. The man also threatened New York prosecutor Alvin Bragg. FBI was investigating Craig D. Liu Robertson. According to charging documents obtained by NPR, they say that Robertson had intent to kill, at a minimum, D.A. Bragg and President Joe Biden. Robertson allegedly said he needed to prepare his camouflage and sniper rifle in anticipation of Biden's trip to Utah this week. Robertson also allegedly threatened to assassinate Bragg in a parking garage. The White House confirmed the president was briefed on the events, but referred specific questions to the FBI. In a statement to NPR, the FBI said it was reviewing an agent-involved shooting that occurred in the morning, yesterday morning, in Provo, Utah. The incident began when special agents attempted to serve arrest and search warrants at a residence. The subject is deceased. The FBI takes all shooting incidents involved. Oh, I can't. I'm not reading that crap. I'm not reading that claptrap. Okay. So this is the story where we're trying to figure out exactly what to make of it, Blake. I thought the story for years after Breonna Taylor was that you should arrest people when they're going up to Walmart, when they get in their car to go to fill up their gas tank, to go heading up to Kroger, and you make an arrest. When you explode through somebody's home before daylight, anybody would assume they're getting attacked, especially since you've let some estimates say 5 to 6 million people flood into this country illegally with nowhere to go. The assumption must be in 2023 that if your house explodes in the middle of the night, you're under attack. Somebody is sieging your property. Somebody is attempting to breach and broach and enter, and God knows what. If you want to arrest a guy who hasn't done anything other than run their mouth, run their typing fingers, they ran their typing fingers, and you got the bravado, differing reports. I keep hearing this guy, he's 50, he's 60, he's 70, he's 80. He's an older man. He's 300 pounds. He's a larger man. This is a guy who said some stuff, typed some things. Did he really have a plan in place? Was he really attempting to do something? It was a guy that said a couple of things online. Now, I'm old enough to remember when President Trump was threatened with assassination. Oh, I don't know. Daily, probably daily. High profile figures. Nothing. Because there's something to political speech. You run your mouth, you talk some trash. Politics is politics. Without an actual plan in place, Blake, it's kind of just running your mouth. I have a psychology degree and I volunteered at a crisis center. And it was always when you take a phone call, you have to ask, okay, are you thinking of hurting yourself? It's a binary choice, yes or no. Okay, so if no, you continue down this conversation. If yes, okay, have you thought about how you're going to do it? Well, no, I don't know. I'm just feeling like it's the only way out right now. You go, okay, then that gives you a chance to take a breath. You're like, okay, we're talking with somebody that can be talked to here. But no, yeah, I do have a plan. Okay, have you acted out anything on your plan? Well, yeah, my plan is to get into a warm bath. I have and they go through and they're like, and by the way, I'm sitting in the bathtub. You escalate that to holy shit level. And you have to it escalates it to a level where, I don't know, maybe you'll throw a grenade to explode through a door and bum rush their place at 6 a.m. to prevent them from causing harm to themselves. Was this overweight, elderly dude running his mouth on his keyboard, like actively engaged in a plot to do something? Or could they have arrested them 100 other ways, arrested this person 1,000,000 other ways that didn't resort in blowing through their door and just shooting like crazy? That's what I thought Breonna Taylor taught us. The other thing I thought we learned from Michael Brown and his the lies saying that he put his hands up and said, don't shoot, and he was executed in cold blood. None of that ever happened. The media, the Democrats, they push that in your face forever. I thought the story was the police, the FBI, anybody who's serving a search warrant and acting as in an investigative role for law enforcement of any capacity should be wearing cameras, body cameras that they cannot turn off ever. You put the vest on, it's got the body camera on. You can't turn it off, you can't pause it. And when you log back out and you get to the station, you hang up your vest and then it goes silent and you upload the footage and it's done. Why are there people going around allegedly? I don't think the FBI required. That's my current understanding. The FBI is not required to have body cameras on their officers when they're going out and enforcing things. I really want to know what happened here. Why did this guy have to get what appears to be executed for running his mouth online? So I don't have all the details here. It's 72 hours. We got to take our time to unpack this because we've seen the media lie and manipulate people over and over to just drum up race hatred and riots and every other damn thing over the past couple of years for political gain. But you talked about a raid on President Trump, raiding a president's place. If anyone's deserved it, look at the previous presidents. I mean, good Lord, you're going to start with this one? Why? Because he didn't want to go to a World War III that nobody wants to be involved in? Anyway, Blake, a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
What's you on this story?
Well, I haven't really dug into it too much. So this is thank you for pulling that out. I'm not sure exactly what to make of it. If he's a shit talker, that's obviously dangerous, and the Secret Service is going to pay you a visit. They probably shouldn't raid you like that. They should have tried something else first. I don't know if they did. So yeah, I would need more details before I can make a judgment. But yeah, usually not a good idea. And he could have been obviously disturbed. That was just very careless to do something like that. So I don't know what his mental health condition. I don't know anything about him. Like you said, you don't know exactly. They keep changing their story and their age or whatever. But yeah, body cams would be nice. So I would agree with you there.
Yeah. Yeah. And we don't have the story, but it's the slippery slope of justification for use of lethal force. Yes. Okay. So, well, Kathy Griffin held up a severed head of President Trump. I guess she was paid a visit by the FBI. Okay. Well, being paid a visit and being summarily executed, those are slightly different things. Did they go into Kathy Griffin's place at 6 a.m, exploding through a door?
Yeah.
Did they have a battering ram and
I don't know.
Drawn?
I don't want to agree with the Biden administration necessarily, but if he's threatening a sniper rifle or trying to murder a prosecutor, that's bad. And I don't know if this dude, I don't know what his story is. I don't know if he's disturbed and he's got a ton of guns and he's crazy enough to do it. And I don't know if there was a confrontation. I'm not saying it was an execution, but until I get more details, I don't want to rush into judgment on that one, because that's normally the process.
I mean, they could have easily arrested him going to the store. Very easily. You put a car here, you just sit on it for a minute. You arrest him when it's easy. You don't need to, if there's like I said, if there's an actionable plan that's in place, that's one part of the story. But what I'm concerned with is the slippery slope here, Blake. Slippery slope here, Blake. It's okay. Well, he said some stuff that, it's probably not wise. And by the way, it's never wise to be, talking so loose and carelessly with your words. But once again, words are words, sticks and stones. But, then it starts to become this slippery slope of, well, look what you're seeing this story. A guy in NASCAR got suspended indefinitely because he liked something that somebody else posted somewhere. He hit a like button on something.
Yeah, it's sad that people pay so much attention to that stuff and they dig in and find out who's following who or who's liking a post that might be offensive to somebody. I think even Jamie Foxx got in trouble the other day for saying something and people take it out of context. They like
but these people are they're political terrorists, Blake.
Yeah.
They're using this opportunity. It's like when you SWAT somebody, you're trying to get them killed. Yeah. That's what that is. All those Timcast swattings, those are all attempted murder. Any time that you do something like that. Now, yeah, you call in suspicious things as you see them. Lord knows, I've seen a couple of things that required someone else to take a look. That's a bit of a far cry from definitely guaranteeing that you're in the middle of somebody has an active situation and it's moments away from life and death. But it's a slippery slope then to say, oh, well, this guy liked to post. He can't race in NASCAR anymore indefinitely because of wrongthink. How far is it to say, well, this guy typed something on Twitter. Okay, we've already established you shouldn't be making threats. I agree with you, Blake, on that. Any rational person should agree that that's probably not good, but they're shit talkers online. People go too far and you rein them back in. That's not actionable. It's reckless. But how far then does it have to go? You like something and you get suspended from your livelihood forever, indefinitely. Or say you're doing this thing where you just wake up or you're going to sleep or you're distracted. You're kind of scrolling, you're liking, you're retweeting, you're scrolling, you're retweeting. Oh, well, this guy retweeted something that was aggressive from somebody else. Like, I don't remember reposting that or retweeting that or sharing that. Oh, but now it's a justification. If you like or share things that are violent from somebody else, now you're a threat and we have the right to come in and execute you. So it's just, if they had a problem with the guy, they should arrest the guy. If you're going to say Breonna Taylor didn't deserve to have her door kicked in, then in the absence of somebody actively aiming a weapon in anybody's direction, can't you just arrest people without shooting them? So that's one of my major questions as we try to unpack this story in the next.
Well, I'm sure there must have been some
48
kind of reason. I know there's some bad guys in the feds, but just to think that they walked in the door and just like guns blazing and just shot them, it seems, far fetched. Unless the guy was armed, I don't know. So I'm hoping.
Well, but that was the Breonna Taylor story. The door burst.
Well, they thought it was a drug
dealer.
Again, well, that's different. They started firing inside the house, and they didn't knock on the door, right? Isn't that what happened?
No. They knocked, and then they entered, and then they were shot.
Okay.
And then they responded back. The first shot was fired by the boyfriend.
Oh, it could have been. Yeah, like I'm staying neutral out of that one. I don't know. Okay. Really fucking stupid to sit there and say you're going to go up with a sniper rifle and shoot the president. I mean, you're going to see something coming. I don't know what his problem is, or if he's doing. I don't know. There needs to. So let's see the investigation before I get all heated up over stuff until I know more of the info.
Yeah, 100%. But it's an interesting story that we need to dig into. So if you have more information, tweet us. We're at American_media_ Blake is at TV's Blake Walley. Next topic, we'll go from one bad guy to another bad guy.
Okay.
All right. Well, like we said, the 72-hour rule in effect.
What caption are we reading? I
posted something bad.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So let's assume that was a bad thing that was done. Let's go to another guy who's been accused of doing bad things. That's the proper transition there. Anthony Fauci, Blake. He is now, well, agree or disagree with this. Anthony Fauci deserves a criminal referral for lying under oath. Agree or disagree?
Oh, absolutely. So Rand Paul is calling this out and saying he's pretty much dead to rights. He's got Fauci. He's, red-handed with perjury. He said he didn't have anything to do with gain of function. He clearly did, and he's referring him. But I don't know if the obviously Attorney General Merrick Garland isn't going to do anything. I'm not going to see any of the Democrats do anything. They're going after Rand Paul. One of his staffers attacked. He had his office burned in Kentucky. So here we go. Rand Paul says Fauci's caught in lies to Congress, perjury about coronavirus research, dead to rights. He was on Fox and Friends outlining all of this about the research going on in China, and has pursued an official criminal referral of justice for lying under oath. And this is our top paid federal official who's basically misled the public from the beginning. That this is pretty much all.
Yes, pretty much all. You froze, Blake. See if we can get you back here. Hoping we can get you back. Unpacking the Fauci story, and Blake is gone. All right, we'll get Blake back. Here he goes. Allegedly.
What in the hell was that? I didn't know. I was on a run there. Damn it.
I missed all of it. Go back to the beginning. You get to say it a second time.
Oh my goodness. All right. Yeah, they don't want people talking about this stuff, I guess. Maybe is that what's going on? I don't know anymore. I don't even know where my article is.
This is still one of the stories that they don't want you to uncover after the massive global chaos. How many millions of families will never be able to be put back together again after Humpty Dumpty Fauci over here brought all of his horses and all the king's men to unleash hell on earth. Yeah, good on you, Dr. Rand Paul. This guy is a monster. His lies about hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, other therapeutic treatments that could have potentially helped people and saved lives. This guy should burn. If he lied about what it's being accused that he lied about, and the fact that he was involved in gain of function and just lying to Congress about it repeatedly, even given a chance on the stand, knowing that it's illegal to lie to us in this investigation, and knowing what you said here, would you like to recant your statement? He doubled down, Blake. He doubled down. So the legal mechanisms aimed at him need to quadruple down. This guy from AIDS to COVID-19 has got so much dirt on his hands. I can't even put into words. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. There are so many families that are wrecked because of coronavirus, and he was involved with what was going on in Wuhan, and he was lying about it. And he kept lying about the transmission. He kept lying about the origin story. He kept lying about damn near everything regarding COVID. And all of that subterfuge, all of those lies and jukes and all of that misdirection, it caused death. Whether he directly created it and unleashed it, or all of this obfuscation caused it, he has blood on his hands, this Fauci.
Yeah, looks like it. He pretty much is the started everything. You could all point it out to him. He's patient zero in a way. He's funding this coronavirus research in Wuhan. It leaks out of the lab, and then it goes all over the world, all over the planet. How many people died, and then he's pushing experimental vaccines and masking up, all the whole while knowing that he's basically, in a way, kind of responsible for all of it. And then he lied
all of it.
Yeah.
He lied about everything. Remember when masks worked, these paper masks. Oh, yeah, that'll stop a virus. Nobody on earth believed that. And he kept lying about it. And then when he wanted the N94s, he said, no, the N95s. No, the N95s don't work. We need them. Stop wearing them. We need them. He lied about that. Then he said, I can't with this guy. If he lives,
yeah.
Okay. So we interrupted. Well, the technical glitches interrupted your rant. You said I was just getting going. So I don't know. Where else do we take this Fauci story, Blake?
Well, I don't know. It's probably going to hit a dead end at some point. The Department of Justice probably isn't going to do anything about it, nor should they want to. And that's going to be an epic fallout, and then arresting the top federal official that we've had, somebody who's supposed to be, a trusted public official who was caught lying and covering up this pandemic. So that would be catastrophic. And then they've, one of Rand Paul's staffers got stabbed and his office got burned down. So yeah, they're after him hard, and expect that to continue. So we'll see. But
so there's a mafia attack on people who are going up against this story. Scott Adams famously predicted that Trump supporters we're going to be hunted. Oh Lord, does it feel like it? Rand Paul's office gets burned to the ground, and his staffer gets knifed in broad daylight. By the way, there's almost nowhere less safe to be than a blue city in broad daylight these days. It's things have gone completely off the rails, and I do suspect that with 5 million people flooding into this country, they're sleeper cells ready to disrupt your internet, your electrical grid, your water supply, and they will begin an invasion. That's my prediction. Let's see if it happens or not. But I mean, it sure feels like the good people of this country are under attack by demons.
Could be like the ghost of Christmas future. So you were talking about Loudermilk earlier, and I knew that name was familiar. I looked up Elliot Loudermilk, and guess what I found? It's Bob Goldthwait's character in Scrooged, who was hunting his old boss in one of those. Yeah, there you go. All right, solve that mystery. So that's where the Loudermilk that was familiar. Anyway, what's the next topic, Brian? Because I've only got about 10 minutes here. It's lightning round.
Lightning round. Did the Department of Justice bury the investigation in exposing? This is written weirdly, Blake. Let me try again. Did the Department of Justice bury the investigation exposing massive voter fraud in Michigan? Agree or disagree?
I'm going to say yes. It appears that way. Something strange. They found some major voting fraud in Michigan. It's been covered up, and the police that did the investigation passed off their work to the FBI, and nothing came out of it.
Good Lord.
Don't we know that
something is rotten in Michigan? I'm telling you, who thinks that they actually elected and reelected that Gretchen Whitmer with her phony kidnapping story, with all of the nonsense that she spewed over the past few years? look, I'm an Ohio State fan, so I don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan. It's in the song. I don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan. However, they're good people up there. Very similar to Ohioans and Kentuckians and Tennesseans, Tennessee-believins. But I just, something appears to be completely rotten in Michigan. It's almost like how I can't believe that Canada keeps putting Trudeau in. I just wonder how corrupt the voting system is across the damn board, because these people are lunatics. It's like, how could any good, decent, normal, rational person continue to support this type of stuff? Maybe they don't. So tell us about the voter fraud investigation that we have. What did we learn?
Yeah, something's as bad as the water in Flint. Yeah, so here we go. In Michigan, report Trump White House official confirms knowledge of Muskegon, Michigan voter fraud. Report in 2020 claims there was an arrest, but Bill Barr, then head of the DOJ, FBI, allegedly killed it. So on Thursday, his former Trump administration general counsel, police operations, Andrew Kloster, I guess he was on Steve Bannon talking about this. So the investigation buried by politicians, government investigators, and the press. This goes back to October 8th of 2020, a month before the election. Muskegon, Michigan City Clerk Ann Meisch noticed that a female, whose name was later redacted from the police report, dropping off between 8,000 and 10,000 completed voter registration applications at the city clerk's office. And the clerk immediately noticed that stacks of registrations included the same handwriting, non-existent addresses, and incorrect phone numbers. The Muskegon Police Department was contacted, asked to investigate, and they checked it out. Investigation of alleged voter fraud being conducted by the Attorney General. Investigative task force was formed. Investigation started. State police discovered that these women that were making these fake ballots, they worked for a place called GBI Strategies. And this was also included in the police report. The group had temporary offices in numerous locations, and they identified Gary Bell as the head of the organization. And they are tied to the Bidens. I think their headquarters is actually outside of Memphis, Tennessee. We don't have a ton of time to get into all of this, but there are plenty of things to look at because Gateway Pundit did drop this big bombshell the other day. So GBI Strategies here, the group paid $11 million by Biden super PACs to harvest fraudulent voter registrations in 20 states, may be the root source of Democrat election rigging. So they're just manufacturing all these ballots. So it's one thing to harvest ballots. It's another thing to manufacture them. And then we had the strange van driving in the middle of the night to the TCF Center, boxes of allegedly ballots, big dumps in the middle of the night. And they found this Democratic operatives. They even found guns, burner phones, all kinds of stuff. It comes from, I believe, this article from Gateway. Estimated 800,000 ballot applications that were sent to non-qualified voters, bags of prepaid gift cards, guns with silencers, burner phones, and a Democratic-funded organization with multiple temporary facilities in several states. So we wonder, so many late-night ballot dumping. So where did they get it? And they didn't really investigate or check all the signatures or anything like that. They seemed non-curious about all the stuff that was happening around them. And it just seems like that. They were trying to get all these ballots sent out to, phony addresses or whatever, and then, fill them out as normal. And then nobody checks the voter rolls. Nobody does the canvassing. Nobody checks the addresses and the signatures. There's a lot to go into here. And we've seen
that's just a ton of dereliction of duty and malfeasance.
Oh yeah, and so, but apparently the stuff in Michigan, you're wondering why some of these states they're not.
Can you mute the video, Blake, so we don't get copyright for the song?
Yeah, I don't think that's even. I think it's just stock video or stock audio. But still,
no, that's.
I'm just trying to show this video of this van rolling in, but we've got stuff like this occurring. And it was, we had the underneath the tables in Georgia. So there's shenanigans going all over, including Runbeck in Arizona. A lot of this stuff has to be to look into.
Well, and it's just like we said with the body cameras on FBI agents and and cops that mandatory. You cannot start your shift without logging in and going boop and starting your camera, and it records until you hang up the your uniform. It cannot stop. There needs to be an auditable process, and everything needs to be on camera. Yeah, like this is some security footage from closed circuit TV in the aisle, in the hallways, in the back alleys of these buildings, but everything regarding the vote should be on camera. Everything should be recorded, and everything should be verifiable and checkable. The fact that so many allegedly fake ballots are even in existence, it's just unfathomable. Like, your one job is to prevent that. If you're not preventing it, it has to be assumed that you're in on the steal. It just has to be assumed that it's intentional. Why would you ever give somebody the benefit of the doubt to just say, oh, no, oh, bless their heart, they're just incompetent. It's not as bad. They're just incompetent. You got to assume that they're in on the fix. Anyway, what else did we have with this one?
Well, yeah, just that they blew this thing up. It's all this information that they found is a whole big, Democratic operation going on to, for ballot manufacturing. And then when they found it out in Muskegon, Michigan, they sent that off to the FBI, and then it just got buried. So that's where you can't trust the FBI to do anything. It's
bags of prepaid gift cards, guns with silencers, burner phones, a Democrat-funded organization, multiple temporary facilities in all those states, an estimated 800,000 ballot applications sent to non-qualified voters. This is, oh my God. You want to talk about losing a nation? This is how you do it if you allow stuff like that. I guess we only have you for a minute or two. So if you have nothing else on this, I just wanted to ask about this one. We have a few other stories. Maybe I'll continue on, or maybe we can just pick them up later, including Hawaii's massive wildfires and the Ecuadorian presidential candidate who was just assassinated. He's a journalist, by the way, so this is very bad news. But regarding the Biden family, this is, I suppose, including the federal government that gets sent all this, election interference information to seize control in a coup of an entire country, and then they don't investigate and nothing happens from it. The House Oversight Committee should subpoena the Biden family. Blake, agree or disagree?
Agree. And there are plans for it as we speak with another one of your great Kentuckians there, James Comer, not to be confused with Jim Comey. So House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer said on Thursday he plans to subpoena members of the Biden family, including Joe and Hunter, in the investigation into foreign bribery and corruption allegations against the Bidens. He made the announcement in an interview with Maria Bartiromo on the Fox Business Network show Morning. And he says this is always going to end with the Bidens coming in front of the committee. We are going to subpoena the family. And that dealing with bank records, dealing with over $20 million to Biden-connected shell companies from foreign oligarchs in Russia, Ukraine, and Kazakhstan, alongside a report connecting the timing of the payments to meetings and phone calls that Joe Biden participated in with those same oligarchs when he was vice president. So they would try to have you believe he was just calling into these meetings to talk about the weather, or to maybe go around the dining room and ask everybody what their meals are. But that's not what actually happened. And it was interesting. You had Peter Doocy asked Joe Biden about it recently. I think it was yesterday. Biden snapping at reporters' lousy corruption question when confronted about that. So that doesn't look good. But let's take a look. What do we have?
President Joe Biden just answered a question by our own Peter Doocy following last week's Devin Archer interview. Peter Doocy is in Belen, New Mexico for us. What did you get, Peter?
He's pretty polite and professional about it.
Sandra, we got a first of its kind
Not like Jim Acosta
reaction to that testimony. Nobody has asked President Biden yet about these allegations from a former Hunter Biden business associate that Hunter would call his dad, then the vice president, and put him on speakerphone to chat with his business associates. So at the conclusion of this event, I had a chance, at the president's invitation, he waved us on over, to ask him. There's this testimony now where one of your son's former business associates is claiming that you were on speakerphone a lot with them talking business. Is that what?
I've never talked business to anybody. And I knew you'd have a lousy question.
Well, why is that a lousy question?
Because it's not true.
Thank you, Mr. President.
That's reassuring. Well, take his word for it.
He's lousy. Now that would be lousy milk.
Yeah, there you go.
By the way, Dreamer Ultra, he says, don't forget also former Minnesota Viking Kirk Loudermilk. You remember that name?
Oh, I do. I think he was a offensive lineman or something. It's been a while. Yeah, good call. There are a few other Loudermilks. I had forgotten.
Dreamer is talking about that Michigan story with potential voter fraud. How did this story stay under wraps for 2 years? WTF. But then he also adds this, and this is bravo. He gets the gold star for the day, because this is the joke I was trying to come up with, but I couldn't piece it together. He said, it kind of reminds me, the Loudermilk, it kind of reminds me of the movie Kingpin. You remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Woody Harrelson, he gets up early to milk the cow, and the farmer says, we don't have a cow. We have a bull. That's Loudermilk.
Oh, goodness.
That is Loudermilk. You're milking the bull.
That is one of my favorite
you
movies.
get the gold star. Yeah, that's a hilarious one. But yeah, kudos to Ducey here. You got to keep asking these questions, because you got to let them know they're being watched. I don't know how this all plays out. Hopefully they all face justice for all of their criminal activity, but you got to let them know they're being watched. That was good on Ducey. One of the few decent things left at Fox. One of the very few things. Formerly great network. Okay, I guess we're probably done, huh? We can't get to anything else.
Do a quick one on the economy, I guess, and then I got to carry out, because one of those things where I'm called in early. Can I technically be late? Can I go a few minutes over? Probably.
Okay, the U.S. economy is doing much worse than is actually reported. Blake, agree or disagree?
I am going to agree. I just don't believe any of the numbers that they put out, and of course they strategically leave out things like fuel costs or food costs, which they leave out of the equation. I wonder why, which is really crushing people. So
Blake, there's no inflation, Blake. Just look. When I say that, I'm not talking about housing or clothing or food or energy. I'm just talking about, what am I talking about? Okay, go ahead.
Right. Oh, wait. Yes. On that note, wait till I get to a quick little video clip from Jerome Powell. But yeah, we got the U.S. credit rating drop, and then got Robert Kiyosaki here warning of a crash landing, which is certainly possible. So we have Fitch Ratings, American credit rating agency, downgraded our credit from AAA to AA plus. First sign of endangerment brewing in the U.S. financial market. Could stir the economy. There's going to be a lot more big interest payments that we have to make on the debt. It's really going to, we got a lot of issues here. With the credit ratings declining, Kiyosaki's the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, interesting guy. One thing, I don't know if the BRICS are going to come up with their own currency yet, so that might be able to hold us off. But certainly we've got major problems here. He's urging people to get into Bitcoin, silver, and gold. I think that's some pretty sound advice. And it's not just Fitch. It's Moody's have downgraded 27 American banks, and there's more on the way, perhaps. And we haven't really felt all of the effects of them raising the interest rates, because it takes a while to hit the real world. So once all those rate hikes hit, it could be catastrophic, just like what we saw with Silicon Valley Bank or First Republic being swallowed up, or Credit Suisse. There's probably a lot more pain on the way, a lot more of these banks. I think there was a list of some of the other people that are in the clear. Many downgraded, many aren't that big of a names, but there are all 6 that are under review, including some high profile ones like Bank of New York, Mellon Corporation, US Bank Corp, at least that I recognize. Others given a negative outlook like PNC, Capital One. These are some ones that we know. So Huntington is a big one. FNB, Simmons, Ally Financial. So that's another thing. Also want to point out that U.S. credit card debt has hit a historic high, over $1 trillion now. So people can't afford to buy groceries, so they're just shoving them on a credit card, and the interest rates are sky high. A lot of people are falling behind. They're being pulled into bankruptcy. And yeah, seems like they're kind of setting us all up for some sort of CDBC. They're going to try to do, debank everybody. It's only a matter of time before it happens to you. They're going to go into the CBDCs, digitally track everything. That's going to be tied to your social credit score. But they need some kind of an out, and they need some way of controlling everything. They don't want everybody just going into Bitcoin per se, because then you wouldn't have to, then they wouldn't be able to steal it all from you and take all your tax dollars and fund, the Ukraine war or what have you. And they're clearly lying to us on all fronts. Here's Jerome Powell asked about the inflation target. His answer sounds like it was written by Kamala Harris. This is the last clip I have for today.
For the general public, for those working families and people, why 2%? Why is getting it to 2%?
Oh, of course.
So important?
That is because
Brian, I might have to pass it on to you. It's another one of these videos that runs great when I watch them before the show. And of course, as soon as we fire up the studio, they fail to run. So can run that one maybe. I'll see if I can give it one more whirl.
The globally
all right,
agreed,
I can pull this up.
Essentially, all major central banks target 2% inflation
in
one form or another.
How does that help my Nevada families? How does that help people in Nevada?
Yeah, I don't think so. But it shows how the elites and the ruling class are just woefully out of touch with people, while they mislead everybody with their phony statistics and say everything's fine. Meanwhile, yes, the fuel costs, and they're draining our strategic oil reserves. Meanwhile, real families are just feeling the pain, not only at the pump but at the grocery store, and they are conveniently leaving all those statistics out of their equations to measure how great the U.S. economy is, when it's certainly.
Well, this is here.
How does that help my Nevada families? How does that help people in Nevada?
I'll tell you how it goes, and it's obviously not.
Oh, it's going to do that to me too.
It's not obvious how that is, but 2% inflation, to have people believe that inflation is going to go back to 2% really anchors inflation there, because the evidence is and the modern belief is that people's expectations about inflation actually have an effect on inflation.
What?
Yeah, exactly. For a guy as smart and well spoken, he was really caught off guard by a question like that. But the reality doesn't hit him, so he's above it all. That's just for the peasants feeling the crunch.
If you expect
of all of the terrible Fed policy has
then it will.
wreaked havoc on America.
Kind of expects that, because that's what businesses and households will be expecting, and it'll kind of happen because they expect it. So,
wow. What the flying crap?
Yep.
I normally put an F word in there, the flying F, but I'm trying to turn over a new leaf, Blake. I'm trying to stay more calm, inject more humor, and try to keep the sailor chit chat to a minimum, a little bit. Yeah, Dreamer Ultra saying Kiyosaki loves America. Shame that they silence his type right now. He said that they have too many expensive treasuries. Every time Powell raises rates, it hurts the banks. Jocelyn saying there's 22 banks on the watch list. So, I mean, good Lord, we've lived through this before. It is not nice when everything falls into the turlet, Blake.
Yep.
It wrecks. Once again, much like Fauci, yeah. It wrecks families, it wrecks neighborhoods, it wrecks the nation. So, is the economy doing much worse? Maybe it is. I don't know. I just know we've pushed adversaries like Russia and China into the same corner with the BRICS nations, and they're all scheming to take us out because us is just a group of.
I think India is backing out. I think Mexico's plan. Right. Well, that was presenting a problem. So maybe they threatened India and said, "No, we're cutting you guys off if you decide to join the BRICS and use their currency." So I don't know. I don't know if that's coming. That was supposed to be coming next week or something, but I don't know if there's going to be a BRICS currency yet. But we do know that the American empire is in trouble. Either way.
Well, I saw a really good interview with Post Malone and Joe Rogan. I'm not sure if you caught that.
Yeah,
one.
I did. CBDC social credit scores. But on that note, Brian, you probably run that clip, but I have got to go. It's been a pleasure. Thanks, everybody. Sorry we don't have more time. Hopefully more next week. But I'll look forward to that Tuesday, unless, Brian, we decide to fire up another show at some point. So sorry. But thanks for everyone for being here. It's great to see you. Follow me, TV's Blake Walley on Twitter. TheNextLevelNews.com will be the archive, and we'll catch you guys next time. Thank you very much. And go ahead, Brian.
Absolutely.
Right,
Thank you. Yeah, it's weird because on my side here, I'm not sharing the screen anymore, but I can't get it off of here. I'm telling you, something about this Restream Studio is a little wonky, but it is what it is. Okay, Blake. Thank you so much, sir. There he goes, everybody. All right. Wow, we jammed a ton of information into today's show. I mean, just now clicking the 60-minute mark. What a great way to spend an hour. But yeah, I really do want to bring some more humor to the world. I typed out today that we're probably looking for someone like a liberty-loving comedian or comedians, Raggedy Ann and Andy, Comedy Ann and Andy. Anyway, yeah, I was watching a compilation video of Norm Macdonald going on the Dennis Miller radio show. Just, I believe it's 2.5 hours long. It's such an interesting arc to listen to, but I was like, I would much rather prefer to have a little bit more fun while, play the fiddle while Rome burns, if you will. So here, let me get to some of your comments. I apologize. I have not been up on the comments on today's show. Not sure what's missing, but let's tear through some of them. Was it Groundhog Day? There you go, Dreamer. And maybe Blake pulled some of these up while I was looking off in another screen. They always destroy their stuff and nothing happens. Yeah, I know. That's what I put. It's like it always happens and there's no repercussions. It's so weird. I want to shout out Frankie Brown. That is, I don't believe, Frankie, are you related to the Cleveland Browns? My favorite football team. Why I have the orange cover to this microphone. Maybe, just for whatever reason. But she says, hey guys, I've been doing physical therapy while watching. Now, is that what the kids are calling it? Or are you really doing physical therapy? That's not innuendo, right? No, but physical therapy, congrats. That's very important. I actually keep some dumbbells right over here. So in between, if you have time to lean, you have time to clean. If you have time to pout, you have time to work out. I don't know. That's all stupid. But anyway, good luck on your physical therapy. What is your ailment? What are you working on? Are you doing calf raises? Are you doing shoulder pulls? Do you have like that stretchy rubber band thing? Hello to David Lopan. What's up? Jocelyn canning peaches. Millions of peaches for free. Jocelyn says she knows a lot of trash talkers. Just go to any bar not serving Bud Light and ask them what they think of Biden and how they think we should fix America. Yeah, that is very well said. I think that speaks for itself. Here we go back to the Utah story. Neighbors described this Robertson guy as a frail, elderly man. His online profile puts his age at 74. Who walked with the aid of a hand-carved stick. They also said he didn't seem like a threat. So once again, if you want to try to burn the country down because of Breonna Taylor, and you say that these no-knock raids, and the no-knock is usually just a big explosion, boom, and then the raid starts. There's your knock. I think in Breonna's case, the neighbors heard that they were knocking, they were identifying themselves, then they went inside. And after talking with some connected news personalities in Louisville, they were convinced that there was a lot more to this story that never fully got released, that there was a much more dangerous situation, an active drug running situation suspected among several. But if we're supposed to look at that story of Breonna Taylor and learn from it, You just arrest these people going to the post office. Arrest them when they're going to get their mail. I don't know. You don't need to blow their doors off in the wee early hours of the morning. Is there an actionable threat? Is he currently taking aim? Has he rented a U-Haul? Did he rent a room next to where the motorcade, or is it just a guy running his mouth? Not that it's a good idea. You shouldn't, but it's too much of a slippery slope. Really. Anyway, I'm not going to bring up the NASCAR thing again, but if you lose your livelihood because you liked somebody else's post, you share the wrong tweet, you retweet the wrong thing, and guess what? Now your home is getting exploded. It's 6 a.m. before the sun comes up. So yeah, if this is a frail elderly man walking with a cane, I think you could have probably arrested him without incident had that been your agenda. Now, if your agenda is just to hunt people who dislike Joe Biden, I mean, where do you start? Kenneth says, I hit a like of this show. Yeah, I hit a like of this show. Come get me. Yeah, no, that was in response to the comment I made earlier. It's a slippery slope of what you tweet. And okay, well, he said something online. Yeah, reading what he wrote, might be time to dust off the ghillie suit and get my such and such operational. Okay, that's a thinly veiled threat. It's nothing. But then that other story did claim that there was another specific 72 hours. Let's unpack the story. But I feel like this guy could have been arrested. That's my early opinion on this story. I feel like he could have easily been arrested without killing him. Maybe not, but I feel like you probably could have got an elderly man. So what is this? Bohica. 4 days ago, the news story came out that the Wuhan lab is getting another $47 million of taxpayer money. Fauci is involved, so he's still getting money for lying. I mean, what? Actually, what? Oh, yeah, Bohica. Bend over. Here it comes again. I had to look that one up. Thanks, Jocelyn. Yeah, I know. It's funny. It's always hilarious when the simulation winks at us, when it laughs at itself, when it laughs at us, when it just pokes you in the eye. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics. That is what Joseph Biden, former Vice President Biden, said during the 2020 political campaign. Haters will say he misspoke. Remember when Kamala said that we must reduce population? No, she meant you must reduce pollution by reducing population. Okay. That is, yeah. We're just 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. Good Lord, have they? For the worse. That's the Obama quote. But yeah, we've put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics. I'm seeing it. That's in response to the Michigan story, of course. Yeah, it's so silly. Every time the Biden crime family is threatened, Trump gets arrested. Yeah, this is a story we didn't cover, but we really could have and probably should have. Although I don't particularly care about drugs and drug use in and of itself per se. Yeah, and the cocaine found in the White House. There's a story been leaking out there that it's connected to the Biden family. Maybe, maybe not. Jocelyn saying that Hunter has a new $700,000 painting for sale. Ooh, how do I get on the wait list for that one? Jocelyn adding BRICS. BRICS will welcome another 47 countries, but not France. Why not France? Gold-backed currency will send Bidenomics into the toilet. Oh, boy. Boy, oh, boy. I don't give financial advice, but if I was giving advice, I think diversification is the easiest thing that I could recommend to anybody. Please don't put all your eggs in one basket, which also was a Norm Macdonald joke that he told to Dennis Miller yesterday. Any stories that we were supposed to talk about today, if you were in charge of the show, if you were our producer, that we haven't covered yet, type them in the comments, please. I'm looking on Twitter, trying to read those comments because those are different. Actually, those are different. God, it's so small. An outhouse summons. Yeah, see, I can't see Kenneth's comments anywhere. Oh, Kenneth, I can't read your... So interesting. Okay, but here's another subject. This is about the polling. I mean, look, reminds me of the Simpsons joke about polling the electorate. Mayor Quimby was in the Sleep Easy hotel. The mayor was out polling the electorate. Anyway, Dreamer says Ronnie D. By the way, and I love all of you. I love all of you. I especially love when you take some of the phrases that we use and you send them back to us. It's my favorite. So yeah, Ronnie D is collapsing according to a latest poll. Vivek to pass him. I just looked up. I saw Vivek. He's from Cincinnati, Ohio. I hail from the great state of Ohio. Vivek Ramaswamy. I wouldn't have pegged that as Ohioan per se, if I were guessing. Vivek is gotta be. He's number 2, right? He's the vice president for Trump. I mean, who else? Carrie Lake. Who else do you trust? None of those deep state hacks. Ronnie D has. I heard someone bring it up. Where did I see it? I try to attribute it, but I don't always remember where I pick things up. But I'm constantly vacuuming up and consuming information and news and comments and just trying to think. There's active thinking and then there's passive thinking. There's the unconscious, the subconscious. There's all sorts of ways that the brain works. But yeah, had Ronnie D, had he said, look, I'll tell you, I appreciate President Trump, his efforts to help get me elected here as the governor of the state of Florida. And according to my massive landslide election win, after having governed a full term, I believe I've had the opportunity to prove to the people of the state of Florida that I mean business. And by business, I mean common sense politics to help you live a great life. That being said, I feel like what I do here in Florida could benefit the nation in general. I don't always agree with President Trump. I do a lot of times, but not always. We have several key disagreements, but that's neither here nor there. I see the deep state wrongfully using their election interference tactics to try to take out the heir apparent to get his stolen term back. The term that a majority of Americans now believe there was shenanigans in the 2020 election. I can't prove that. I don't think that that's the case per se, but a lot of Americans do. That being said, I'm announcing today my run for president of the United States of America because in case President Trump is taken off of the board, I want to be there as a backup to take that position and to pardon him and to bring him into the administration or something. Ronnie D could have said something like that, and people would have said, okay, I mean, I see I see the plan to take out Trump. Someone needs to be there. Hey, you did a good job in Florida, but don't bash the president. You want to lose MAGA? You want to know a great way to lose MAGA? Do what Ronnie D did. Don't do what Donnie Don't does. This could have been more. They could have made this less confusing. It's another Simpsons joke. Don't do what Donnie Don't does. Yeah, Ronnie D's collapsing. Vivek is pretty much the obvious. I believe he said, and he's really one of the only people running that's defending President Trump. The others are disgusting, vile creatures for not doing that. I've never seen a political figure get maligned, unfairly persecuted, and even prosecuted for political purposes. All of the frame attempts. Trump has been framed over and over and over again. I've never seen a president framed like this. Oh, I see presidents like Obama and Bush getting away with murder, literally, figuratively. Oh, I see Clinton getting away with all sorts of stuff. That's what I see. But yeah, Vivek, he's defended President Trump. And if anybody can't defend President Trump for all of the good things that happened prior to the coronavirus being unleashed on the world, and then having the voter fortification efforts detailed, I believe, in Time magazine, where they were bragging about the collusion, the censorship of social media, seeing the lying legacy media put fake stories out there, fake FISA warrants, Watergate times 1 trillion. Where are the repercussions for that? That's a violation of civil rights. There's the unreasonable search and seizure. Obama and his ilk should have went to prison for life for that stunt. And they just keep getting away with everything they're doing. So they keep upping the ante. They keep trying to get away with more and more. So when will Wyatt Earp walk into town and twist the ear of Billy Bob Thornton and kick him out of the casino so that their hotel could start doing business again because he's messing with everybody there? Well, we got a group of people that are messing with everybody who's here in America right now. I'll tell you, I'll also add, to this. Jocelyn adds that homelessness, that's a fun word, homelessness is at an all-time high. The U.S. has spent $50 billion on homelessness since last summer. Where did the money go? Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of loving what's happening in New York. I read a story that Lady Gaga's father is really upset in his fancy New York neighborhood that all these foreign invaders are just now ruining his streets and his community. Yeah, you know what? Blue cities, that's what's been happening in Arizona, in California, in New Mexico, in Texas. All of these border states completely overrun. It's ridiculous. Walt Disneyland could not continue if people were blowing through the ticket taking booth. If they were blowing through the turnstiles, 5 or 6 million people storming into this country. You've got military-aged Chinese coming in. The same country that unleashed the global bioweapon killing millions. And this is okay? People from God knows where with what kind of vetting? None. A single criminal act perpetrated by any of these people who snuck in the back door to the country, it was all preventable. It was all unnecessary. So the fact that border states finally figured out, okay, well, nobody's helping us. In fact, they're changing the laws to make it easier to come on over here. There should be massive camps on the other side of the wall in Mexico where Mexico can handle these asylum requests. They're passing through Mexico. That's a state that's supposed to take you during an asylum request. Them passing it to us. So watching New York and other blue cities get overrun as some of these border towns, these border states, he said, all right, well, nothing's working. Actually, not only is nothing working, they are working against us to make more of this problem. All right, can't beat them, join them. Let's overdo this thing. You want it? Okay. You want to be a sanctuary city? All right. You know what? Allow us to help. And so then they're bussing people up to Martha's Vineyard. Oh, they don't like that. They're at the point where they're ready in New York. They're declaring national emergencies and they're trying to transform Central Park into a massive illegal invader homeless camp. You want that in your backyard? Here you go, New York. Congrats on patting yourself on the back, throwing your shoulder out, just massively patting yourself on your own back because you're a sanctuary state. You're a sanctuary city and you're better than us. You openly declare that I know there's a national law against sneaking into the country, and we're going to say, welcome, come on in. We are a sanctuary city like everyone should be. Oh, you're a sanctuary city, you say. This must be your lucky day. Was it Mitch Hedberg? Oh, so you're a king, I say. I have a bed that's measured to fit your exact specifications. I grew up sleeping in a twin bed, wondering where my brother went. But yeah, homelessness is at an all-time high, spending $50 billion on homelessness. Well, I mean, what is homelessness? A lot of the time it's mental illness. I don't know when the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual that governs psychiatric care, mental illness, when this all got thrown out. The people who need help can't just get taken to a facility where they can receive some help. Mental illness is a real thing. And you got drug abuse and mental illness accounting for a large percentage of what's happening with the homeless situation. So, I mean, you want to treat homelessness, get these people on their feet, get them clean. And if they're seriously mentally ill, put them in a facility and care for them. Don't abuse them. But you cannot just throw up a tent on the sidewalk and, yeah, this is mine now. You can't just yell at people and spit in their face like that viral video I saw in San Francisco. This girl is terrified to be out anytime. She feels unsafe always in San Francisco. You must flee the big cities, the big blue cities. Flee. I don't know what else you're supposed to do unless you can fix it. And I don't know how you're going to fix it if you know, if the books are already cooked, as they say. So yeah, that is a good story. You want to spend $50 billion? Yeah, it's money laundering. Where does $50 billion ever go? You know, same characters. Jocelyn says that AI. I read this and it looks like Al. Who's Al? Like Ziggy and Al from Quantum Leap. AI is now doing psychic readings, and they are more accurate than human psychics. Where do I do that? Where would I find the opportunity to get an AI psychic reading? If I had the opportunity to get an AI psychic reading, would I want one? Oh, Lord. What if? Timothy says, as a Staten Island native and an ex-Wall Street dick. What's an ex-Wall Street dick? Oh, you were just a dick on Wall Street. Well, because didn't the word dick, didn't that used to like mean like a private investigator? Let me see if that's a common. Wasn't that a phrase that people used? I really have to be careful that I don't type in private dick. I'm sure I get redirected to something very. Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry. I just got excited there. Dick has been slang expression for detective since the Prohibition days. It's just a shortening of the word detective. Detective is dick. Yeah. Okay, so private dick. That is a. I just didn't want to just type in a search bar private dick because then I would. What they do on How I Met Your Mother? They would salute anytime someone would say that. Like general confusion, they go general confusion. You'd say private dick, you go private dick because private, major, general. Okay, so yeah, Timothy's saying he's familiar with New York and it is lost. Well, hey, look. I'll wrap it up on this. If you have any other stories that I'm supposed to talk about, type them in the comments now. But look, remember that New York was built. New York was trash. 70s, right into the 80s. Just junk. It was junkies and hookers and crime and grime. And just sadly, so much of that is just permeating through the United States right now. I mean, if a virus could enter this nation and just ravage the formerly great country into just craziness, folks, we're here. We're in the middle of it. But then a guy like Giuliani came around. Maybe he was a little heavy-handed with the stop and frisk thing. Maybe. Yeah, we have civil rights. You have a Fourth Amendment right. Okay. I'll listen to that conversation. But when you have known drug activity at a certain corner and cars are stopping and transactions are being made, trust me, I know a little bit about this. When it's the same usual suspects, call it a stop and frisk or just say, hey, I would like to get a warrant for the people at this corner, at this intersection who are stopping to talk to cars. Maybe that's too broad of a sweeping, surveillance request or a warrant to issue a warrant. But geez, if you could tap into President Donald Trump's candidate Trump's phones under a fake collusion story with Russia over a P-tape and Fusion GPS and Perkins Coie and Hillary Clinton and the DNC, you want to commit Watergate times a trillion? Well, then, yeah, I mean, I feel like you should be able to stop and frisk the people who are holding the drugs and holding the weapons at the same regular locations, at the same regular times, the same regular stations, to try to do something about it. He addressed the crime in the city. He called it the broken window concept, the broken window theory. Oh, I used to do a good Giuliani. You got to bug your eyes out real big occasionally. He kind of has a bit of a lisp. I don't know. I haven't done a Giuliani in a while, but I'm remembering components of doing a Giuliani. I was going to try to explain what the broken window theory was as Giuliani, but sadly, I need to brush up on my Giulianiisms. But the broken window theory is just if you're walking by an old abandoned building, a warehouse, and you realize that somebody's taken a rock and busted out a window. All right, well, what do you care? It's an abandoned facility. It's not my problem. Well, I don't know, whatever. It's just a window. Come back the next day, there's going to be 3 more windows busted out and some graffiti. Come back a week later, all the windows are busted out and somebody burned half of it down. The whole place is covered in graffiti. If you let things slip into chaos, chaos will perpetuate itself, and that will become the inertia of the situation. The situation, if left unchecked, continues and increases and enhances. It's like The Blob. You remember those horror movies? The Blob. It just rolls through. It consumes everything in its path, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That's what happens when you don't address the criminality problems. That's what happens when you make it easy for people to steal without repercussions. And geez, that shop owner that was robbed 3 times by that criminal, and then they stopped him and tackled him and hit him with a stick and got him out of there and protected their property from being stolen. There's a question of, could that guy possibly face charges? They're defending their store from a lunatic. Arrest the lunatic. Throw them in jail. If they're on drugs, get them the help that they need. If they're crazy, keep them locked away. These shop owners didn't wake up that day looking for a fight. The fight showed up to them. And you have a right to defend yourself and your property. You're under no obligation to give up everything you've worked so hard for to let someone else take it. You're under no obligation to get assaulted by a crazy person. But when the cities stop caring about the good residents are going to leave. That's a point that I had on little Ronnie D. Once again, thank you for any one of you that use that term. I love it. Hey guys, oh, I'm so thirsty. What do you got in the fridge? Oh, I got some soda, some OJ, some purple stuff, some Sunny D. Ooh, Ronnie D. I'll take some Ronnie D. It's like, why would you pass on some OJ and go to Sunny D? Why would you pass on Trump and go to DeSantis? No, there were so many good people that fled upside down blue cities, and they fled to Florida. It was one of the few free states left at the peak of the pandemic. They're like, I cannot believe all of these draconian lockdown things that they're pushing in these big blue cities. It's almost as if this is a globally coordinated plan to destroy Trump's presidency, get him out of office, and exert a whopping amount of power and control over the population. Almost as if. So Ronnie D blew out his competition. Oh, what a landslide. I feel like he started getting used to enjoying and then even loving the smell of his own farts. Maybe he drank the Kool-Aid on himself. Maybe he patted himself on the back a few too many times, like those sanctuary cities do. But little Ronnie D decided it was his time to become president. It's my time. No, it's not, pal. More than 55, 60%, what would I say, 62% of the country believes the 2020 election was not what it was labeled as. It was not trustworthy, not reliable, not believable, not even remotely believable. I mean, just even on the surface. Yeah, well, what evidence? Doesn't matter. You're past the tipping point. You've crossed the Mendoza line, the Mason-Dixon line. You're on the other side of the Rockies. Whatever analogy you want to use. It's something around 60% of the people of this country don't believe that we have an actual elected administration right now. I don't know. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. But that's what you have. It's that guy's time. The guy who many feel was screwed out of his second term when they fortified everything. It's his time. It's his turn. Now he knows who the players are. Now he knows the backstabbers. I love the quote with Trump and, where was it from? I don't think it was from Oprah. I remember hearing it more than I remember watching it, but President Trump, he famously said during some interview somewhere, he said, I almost wish that I lost everything. Because if I lost everything, I'd be able to see who's actually on my side and who's not. And my understanding is that President Trump could lose his life if he's convicted of all these bogus charges, these political charges that are being used to interfere with the 2024 presidential election. Yeah, Ronnie D could have just either said, look, I'm running in case President Trump, in case he's wrongfully prosecuted in one of these states. You have Mike Pence turning on Trump. You have Ronnie D turning on Trump. Man, did they blow it. Either way, DeSantis could have been the 2028 president, but he just couldn't wait. Or is he being pushed? Is he bribed or blackmailed? President Trump has alluded to having some information on Ronnie D. Well, we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I don't think it's even necessary. I don't even think it's necessary. It's not really necessary to keep talking about Ronnie D because he's irrelevant. This was the other story I wanted to get to. Maybe I'll devote more attention to. I really wanted this to be one of the top stories of the day. But it just didn't make it happen. A Ecuadorian presidential candidate was just assassinated. And this is really bad news, folks. Really bad news. Take a look at that. You follow us on Twitter at American_media_. I'm going to tweet some more about this. Also, another story, a big one, is Hawaii's massive wildfire. Is it natural? Is it expected? Or is there something different about this? It's another huge, huge story. So I want to make sure we're able to get to those. And I just want to tell you that let's look into these and we'll try to bring them up the next time around. Yeah, Timothy is saying, yes, Brian, you're right. What I meant to say is that I was such a lost soul working in NYC. We're not meant to live like rats and ants in a container. Yeah, Blake and I fled Los Angeles. I mean, we're not together, but he did rent a room at my place, if you didn't know that. I had moved out of Los Angeles and he was moving out of Vegas and then he moved into a room there and then he went to, anyway. But yeah, escaping Los Angeles is we're not meant to live like rats and ants in a container. Yeah, 5-minute cities. I'm good. That's why they want you on the grid and everything. That's why they want you in their system. If your social credit score isn't high enough, you don't get to drive your electric car today. They can't really do that to you when you just fuel up your tank and go. But under their power and control grid, that's what they're trying to get to. Jocelyn says, Brian, you are describing that journalist's car. Oh, I don't think I remember that. Brian, you're describing that journalist's car. The car was vandalized while she was covering Archer's testimony. Okay. Yeah. Or walking with Rand Paul's staffer who gets stabbed in broad daylight, or your office building burns down, or I don't know, or a body surfaces with no 911 call information. Where's the update on the Obama body that was found in a little puddle of water from the chef that's been around all their dinners listening to all their private conversations? And just any updates on the important stories of the day? Any? But yeah, Ecuador, I'm really, yeah, I don't like that at all. It just feels like foreshadowing. I don't like it. And I don't like the fact that Biden has become such a liability that it really feels like he could be sacrificed by the deep state to be turned into a martyr. Maybe you could blame it on some Utah guy, right? Right? You see the storyline that they could come up with. You don't think Obama would do that in a heartbeat to put Michelle into place, to slide them in? Corrupt Joe goes out as a hero, giving his life for the cause of stopping Orange Man, the evil Orange Man. I don't know. You jump into that viper den. I mean, you can only be protected for so long. Biden is such a massive, calamitous train wreck. That famous quote from Barack Hussein Obama, never underestimate Joe Biden's ability to fuck things up. Well, maybe it was Hunter that screwed things up. Maybe it was Ashley Biden in her diary. Maybe Ashley Biden left the diary on purpose to be found. Maybe Hunter left his laptop to be found, and maybe they are trying to sink the Biden ship. I don't know, but it's an interesting theory if you think about it. How could one family be so reckless and abusive and callous and careless? Well, I mean, they all go hand in hand, I suppose. Frankie Brown. Frankie, what are you rehabbing? And if it's personal, keep it to yourself. If it's too personal, definitely keep it to yourself. But she says, please hit the like button. It helps get the show out to others. Yes. So I will tell you where to find the show. All of the places, please. Dreamer Ultra has joined. We're trying to get into a. Oh, Kenneth says Brian for VP. Thanks, Kenneth. Appreciate it. I would serve as VP. Number 2. Number 2. What was I starting to say? Oh, follow us in all the places. We got Dreamer Ultra in our Twitter group. Blake and I, we're going to start a Twitter group for the Agree to Disagree show so we can share stories and investigate things together. So first step is you got to follow us on Twitter and then tag us and be like, hey, we watch your show. It's Frankie. Hey, it's Jocelyn. Hey, it's whoever you are. And if you don't have an X account, please sign up for one. I don't work for them. I don't particularly care, but it's temporarily a place that we can still have our good conversations. So I encourage you to find us there at American_media_. Rumble.com/the new American media. Subscribe, play our videos, like our videos, comment on our videos there. We're trying to build that up. We have 1,300 videos, youtube.com/the new American media over the past 12 years. It's a vast cornucopia of interesting information. Sift through it. On Spotify, the Agree to Disagree show. We need more people listening to those. So if you're the podcast type of person, please subscribe, like the show, play the show. We need some numbers over there. Instagram.com/the new American media, because the old American media has failed. And then on Facebook, it's a private group. Go to search function and type TNAM''S, then quotation marks. I was calling them parentheses. Then in quotation marks. I recognize I fell into a glitch there and I had to correct it. So it's TNAM, capital TNAM, apostrophe lowercase s, space, quotation marks. The Agree to Disagree show, quotation marks. That's how you find our private show there. We're also on Signal, and we're also on Telegram. Telegram TNAM, or TNAM chat on Telegram. So follow us in all the places. Please follow us in all of the places. And so that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you for watching. And I really do. I love the fact that we get together and we try to unpack what's going on in the world. And but yeah, Twitter, I'm sorry, X, I join it, tag us on it, send us a message, and we'll add you to the private group where we'll continue the storytelling and the investigation into the stories. The Utah guy, there's probably 100 things we don't know about the story. All I'm saying is you could have arrested him when he walked out to get the mail with his cane. Or if he tried to drive away and go to a place to take an actual shot at somebody and turn something literally violent instead of just running your mouth with fingers of diarrhea online and you're just saying things that are not wise to say, you know, you don't deserve to be executed for saying stuff like that. So as we unpack all of these stories and as new breaking updates hit us, we want to be able to talk with you in real time in between our live shows. So X is going to be a good place to do that. So appreciate you. Love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Peace.